Hello and welcome to the Boomtown Hoops post-game show. I'm your host, Bobby Howard. With me today, Cody Beat. And we are here to talk about a pair of almost identical losses to the Los Angeles Clippers in Los Angeles. Today's final, Clippers 108, Thunder 100. A slight improvement over Friday's performance where the Thunder fell 120 to 106. Interesting pair of games, really illustrates the vast divide between the Thunder and, the top tier of the NBA. Cody, your thoughts on this, kind of rough weekend, but also, not rough of your pro tank, because that's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, we've talked about how tough this road trip is going to be for the team, and 0-3 for the week. Not super surprising considering who they have played, Denver and then the Clippers twice. Both are pretty bad matchups for our current roster. Jokic is a big guy that can facilitate, and he's an MVP candidate. We're playing without Horford in all these games, putting Isaiah Roby out there, an undersized big man already. It's pretty tough, especially tonight against Zubac. And then you also have, with the Clippers, elite wing defending with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. So just super tough for the guys to really get much going. But I will say a positive day. If you are a gambling man or woman, they did cover. So
they did cover, and they I believe narrowly covered, or almost covered miraculously the other night. Stormed back, but couldn't get the final free throw.
It was a little bit free throw away from covering.
I know. So we got it right this time. If you were putting money on the Thunder, but yeah, just too much Kawhi Leonard, too much Paul George in the last game. Both times they just got out to a blazing hot start, 20-point leads, and the Thunder just never were able to recover all the way. Frankly, because when you have stars like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, they're just that much better. They elevate your team to a level that is that will win you games, and that is what the Clippers did for both of these games. They had too much on the star front. Their depth is ridiculous. That starting five is just insane with the additions of Batum and Serge Ibaka. It was just too much depth, too much size, too much star power. But you know what? Here's the thing. You should be pretty happy about this as, any Thunder fan, because they fought. They didn't give up when they went down 20. They scrapped in, made it a, close game. And we have a pair of, decent performances out of some players. So I'll give them that. Who really stood out to you over these two games and in this one particular?
I'd say for, just this game in particular, I think George Hill really took advantage of not being the guy kind of keyed onto by Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. He went 9 of 12 for 22, 17 of those points in the second half. He tried to kind of make a late surge in the fourth quarter, hitting 3 back-to-back threes to get the game within, I think it was 7 or 8 points. But anytime we got, a close game, Kawhi Leonard just kind of did his thing, got the ball, going down the basket, mid-range, 3-pointers, rebounds. It really didn't matter tonight. He was, magnificent. I think he finished with like 34, 8, and 9, something along those stat lines. Even when, way off P was not playing super hard, but he was, out there playing some defense, disrupting passing lanes. So, and then, the first game, really just, it looked terrible. It was a lot closer than it probably should have been. I think they just kind of let off the gas pedal towards the end of the third quarter and fourth quarter on Friday night.
Yeah, a pair of 30-point performances from Kawhi Leonard, 31 on Friday and 34 tonight. Just stellar shooting, almost a triple-double today with 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Just incredible performance. The guy is really, honestly, one of the best players in the NBA. And, you have those awful playoff series and you forget about the Clippers, but this is a legitimate title contender without a doubt.
Yeah, and I think they learned from their 3-1 loss last year. You got to, if you're going to talk that much smack and trash, you got to back it up. And, we've seen Paul George do this the past 3 or 4 years, it's just, it's another year, it wasn't championship or bust, but you can definitely tell there's a sense of mentality change among Kawhi Leonard and some of the other guys there that, maybe it just took them getting Ty Lue to kind of take the reins for him to kind of be having this type of mentality. Maybe there's something with Doc Rivers last year. I don't know. A lot of drama out there. But, yeah, there's definitely been a light kind of switch turned on, I think, from Kawhi Leonard's perspective. I mean, he's just been magnificent this entire year.
Yeah, we'll see how it all pans out because, as always with the Clippers, when you get to the champion or the playoffs and all that, that's when, that's how they'll be judged. And, frankly, we'll just have to wait because, look, Paul George can be an MVP contender all season long until we get to the playoffs. I want to see it. That's just kind of how it is at this point. But I don't know. This Clipper team, very, very, very good. But, hey, there's some bright spots here for Oklahoma City. I thought this was a good 2-game stretch for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with, he had 23 points tonight, a little less great of a night than Friday where he scored 30, kind of gritted his way through. Nothing came easy for Shai in Los Angeles here. But in general, that's kind of what you have to see out of this. And the fact that he's a guy who can take a tough game, not exactly the prettiest thing in the world, but, squeeze a 20 points a night out of that. That's remarkable and a huge step in his progression.
Yeah, for sure. And he's doing it efficiently. Tonight he shot 8 of 16 from the field. He's really kind of picking his spots. Sometimes, I would wish that he would be a little bit more aggressive, try to find his shot, because if he's shooting that efficient, you want him taking as many shots as he can. But, like you said, he's being, kind of a floor general role. It's 6 and 7 rebounds and assists along with his points tonight. He's just having, one of those great years as far as just learning to be that floor general like Chris Paul, was teaching him this past year. And then, hopefully he can just kind of keep on progressing. And hopefully Lou Dort can get back to his shooting ways. Tonight was his first night that he did not hit a 3 all year in a game. So.
Shoot, I just noticed that. Yeah, the streak is dead. That's a bummer. That's sad because he almost hit that last Friday, but was able to get one in. But dang it, that's a bummer. That was one of my favorite storylines going. But even if you can't go anywhere, the Sunday night or the Sunday matinee in Los Angeles will always bite the road team, I guess, even if they're stuck inside. But yeah, in general, this Thunder team just is not going to go very far with who we have down low. No offense to Isaiah Roby and Mike Muscala, but you're just going to get eaten alive by these teams who have actual centers and know how to use them. And not only that, but just the way the Clippers swarm the paint. Kawhi Leonard was remarkable on the boards tonight. It was just too much, and that's okay because this is where it gets tanky. This is where it gets real intense. But I'll say this: I'm just happy to see them fight it out, have keep their head up through all of it, and get a really good performance and get a loss that I think moral victories are a thing now. Pat ourselves on the back. Good job, guys.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've been playing hard the whole year. It's nice to see them. And one thing I've been really impressed with is it seems like anytime they come out in the second half, they're pedal to the metal. They're playing hard. There were times whenever it was the Billy Donovan regiment, I felt like the third quarters just were always the worst quarters in any game. And I would always ask myself, like, what does Billy say during the halftime? Does he just go around, just, clapping, saying everything's going to be all right? In times with these NBA players, I mean, you got to kick a fire under them sometimes. And so I feel like Daigneault is definitely getting the most out of the team. They're listening to him, mostly young guys. And then the veterans that are on the team, I think, are just consistent pros. They're not coming in and causing problems in the locker room or anything like that. So, they're just responding really well to him. And I think he's done really well as his first year.
Yeah, absolutely. I've loved what we've seen out of him so far. Definitely, he is cut from a similar cloth as Billy Donovan, as he, kind of grew up under him. But you see there's something different in him, and that's something I like out of Daigneault for sure. But anyways, that's all I got for this weekend. Definitely a rough one if you're wanting wins. Good if you want tank lottery balls, all that good stuff. And great for us if you just like seeing your team play hard. And that's what we got. So we will be back at it tomorrow, late night. We got the Portland Trailblazers. So before we get into that, thoughts on the Damian Lillard shoe referencing that, what was it, Game 5?
Yeah.
I don't know. What if you could make a shoe to commemorate something that happened 2 years ago? What would you put on your shoe?
Well, if it was me and I was a Thunder player, I would think about Damian Lillard only going to one conference finals. We've been to 4 and an NBA finals, consistently winning franchise. If I was going to put something on a shoe from something from the Thunders, man, I'm trying to think of honestly, I think the Russ triple-double year, I think, would probably be like, if I was going to do something, that would kind of make the most sense, because, it was the year after KD left, and, that was just a magnificent year. But, honestly, we don't have a whole lot of good memories in the playoffs ever since KD left, but I would say that that's probably the best one.
Yeah, I mean, let's just start celebrating, beating the Spurs that one year. There you go. Woo. At least that was a second round series. I don't know. We're not bitter. Not bitter at all.
I just if you're going to brag about that, man, the franchise that you beat has been to 3 times, or, we've been to 4 conference finals. You've been to 1 in your entire career. I mean, I think that's more of a personal shot at Paul George than it is the Thunder, because they still have beef, but hey, do what you can, man. It's baby Dame.
I guess so. Paul George probably says that's a bad shoe. I don't know. But anyways, that's all we got for you tonight. We will see you on Monday after that Portland game. Burning the midnight oil with y'all. Thank you all so much for spending your Sunday with us, and have a good rest of your weekend. Enjoy some football, and yeah. So for me and Cody B, this has been the Boomtown Hoops post-game show. We'll see you tomorrow. Thunder up.